Hello everyone, and this is Mr. Brown helping you with test unit, not 6, unit 3, switch things around, on helping you understand some of the basics just to make sure you can study those. So hopefully you watch this video, take notes, and study them to do the best you can. So starting right in here, what is the keyword that we use when it inherits from another class? Hopefully you should know it is extends. Okay. What is the keyword when you use class uses an interface? Obviously that's implements. Okay. So name 4 examples of interfaces, 2 of which are used in Java often, one from the book and one that's made up. So the 2, we talked about a couple of them in class. A couple common ones is serializable. That lets classes be saved. Comparable, lets you compare 2 objects within that class. Readable, um, something that could be read, a file or CS, different file types and stuff, and that closable, program, different things that could be closable. Or common example, scanner. Scanner, I think, implements the closable interface. The one from the book is Netflix player. Y'all didn't have to read that, but I would highly recommend looking at the unit it's unit 7 or 8. Sorry, unit 9 in your textbook. It has some good examples. The Netflix player, I think, does a really good job of explaining a way to think about interfaces. Drivable is the one that we talked about in class. So obviously that's one that is made up. You could use that one, or eatable, or diet. There's a lot of, you can come up with a kind of an interesting, cute one yourself. That'd be great. Cute. That's right. So what are the 3 main things that yes, you guessed it, a blueprint class. Make sure you write that in. No excuses. We've been talking about that for a while. Ideally, they should have attributes, constructors, and methods. Obviously, you've seen examples where you don't necessarily need those things, but those are the 3, the ACM, American Classic Movies, are the 3 main things. Obviously, getters and setters would not be accurate enough because not all methods are strictly just getters or just setters. Describe the differences and similarities between an abstract class and an interface. This is important. If you don't hit all of these points, it's probably a 5-point question. Okay, so first, make sure you say what an abstract can do. An abstract class can have a constructor, attributes, and defined methods. An interface cannot. Let's see. An interface can only require methods, i.e., contract the methods. They can't have a constructor and all that stuff. But an abstract class can require methods using the same style, but needs the keyword abstract. So having that semicolon at the end. Yeah. So those, 5 or so things. Make sure you hit those. Let's job differences. Let's see. Describe what is done when writing and then using an interface. Well, you have certain methods that you want to require the classes that implement it to use. For example, drivable requires the drive method. That's the whole point of, so that many different classes, you might want to add that in, many different classes have the same method by contract. Now it might be done differently, right? So that's an important part. That they do differently. Okay. Can you make an instance of an abstract class? Okay. No, you cannot. For example, you cannot write shape S equals new shape if shape is an abstract class. You don't want objects from generic abstract classes, right? That's the organizational property that you don't want people to accidentally be able to make those objects, because then they won't have all the stuff that you need. That's just a way to organize using inheritance in your code. Okay, so the following declarations, kind of pulled over on the next page here, but which one of these, given this little higher tree here, if you want to draw the tree, this is kind of an easy one, so hopefully it should be pretty straightforward. But human person equals new boy. Obviously that's legal, right? Boy is a human. Okay, new human equals boy. Are all humans boys? No, that is not correct. And even also with how this class setup is written. Girl is a human. Is that correct? Yeah, girl is a human, right? And then boy is a girl. No, that is not correct. So there you go. Given that shape is an abstract class, okay? So this next one, yeah, sorry. Given that the shape is an abstract class, oh, I think I forgot to change that. Give me a second. Yeah, oh, here, let me get rid of that. Pause for a second. Sorry about that. All right, we're back. So, given that shape is an abstract class, write the contracted method get area in that shape class. Okay. Where did it go? Okay, write the contracted method, public, abstract, double get area. That's how you would contract the get area method in the abstract class, because you don't necessarily want to define the get area method in a abstract class. You just want to be able to force classes that extend the shape class to be able to use them. Cool. Okay. Next, we have, okay, given this array list of shape objects, or could be an interface, actually, but we're keep on the same line. It's an abstract class. This shape objects, right? Use a for loop to go through and print the area of each shape. Okay, just a normal for loop. So you have for int I equals 0, I is less than shape dot size, because y it's an array list, and then increment the I, and then just system out to print ln so it looks pretty, shapes dot get area. Pretty straightforward, right? Call the method on, oh, not so high. Catch yourself, Mr. Brown. Shapes dot get of I, right? Because you need to get that object and then get the area. So Mr. Brown makes mistakes, but tries to catch them. So just like y'all should. The next one is use a for each loop to call the draw method on each object in that array. So here's the for each loop for each shape that we're calling S temporarily, right? We're declaring that little reference variable for each shape S in shapes. Okay, for each shape in S in shapes, I want S, tell that reference variable to each of the different objects and draw. Boom, pretty straightforward. Hint, hint, it might be slightly different methods or slightly different class, but those are the ideas for how to do that. So I hope that video helped. Kept it under 8 minutes. Make sure if you want to watch it again, do take notes. Make sure you study. These are all concepts that we've studied before in one shape or another. So make sure you study and be ready for the test. I'll be available tomorrow, obviously during class, for questions. Thanks and God bless.